Hello, guys. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Delta Report. Glad to have you guys here on this Monday, the 18th of April, 2022. Thank you for tuning in. Let's talk about Bitcoin for a minute. What's going to happen? You all know that the Fed out there right now is basically strangling the economy with a tightening. It's just ready to begin. It's on the verge of beginning. And I know they've already tightened 25 basis points, but that's just a start. They're going to really come at it heavy now. 50 basis point rate hikes, multiple 50 basis point rate hikes. And at the same time, they're going to start to do quantitative tightening and shrink their balance sheet. What they're going to do is they're going to destroy the economy, and then they're going to have to change direction, come in from the other angle, which is go back to loose monetary policy. When that happens, there's going to be a tremendous move, and it's already begun, in the gold and silver. But here's the problem. It's not going to be a move in the gold and silver as paper products like SLV and GLD. That's not where it's going to be. It's going to be in the real physical. And the problem is going to be in allocation. When this thing hits, everybody and their dog is going to want gold and silver, real physical metal, and they ain't going to be able to get it. So, you got to think it this way. If you're desperate, if you're dealing with a failing currency, and you've got that currency, and you got a lot of it, maybe you got a bank account, maybe you got a lot of money there, and you've got excess money, and you're just like, what am I going to do with this stuff? It's losing value daily. Take a look at Turkey, for instance. What they're going through with the lira right now. Well, they pulled the Turkish people. And they said, what do you want to do? Are you going to stay in the lira? Hell no. It's losing value too quick. Now picture if this was the US dollar. Because it can come here just as quick and just as bad, it's just as ferocious. So they polled them, what do you want to do? And they said, well, a lot of them were talking about going into the dollar instead of the lira as their savings. That's just like jumping out of the frying pan into the fire. Then they pulled some of the other ones, and they said, well, what do you want to do? And the majority of them said gold. That's the one word they come up with, gold. But the thing is, what if you can't buy it? Simply put, it's like a guy who wants to go and have a hamburger at a certain restaurant. He goes up and there's a sign on the window that says, hey, we're closed. Well, you ain't going to have that hamburger. So that's the way with gold. You want to buy gold and you want to protect the purchasing power of your dollar. But it's all gone. The people have come in there ahead of you and they've snatched it all up and it's all gone. Well, we're not there yet. You can still buy gold. But I can see a time coming when this problem's not just in Turkey, where it moves to the entire world, and there's not enough gold and silver to go around. There just isn't. So what are they going to do then? They got all this fiat currency, oodles and oodles of it. And it's losing value at a tremendous pace. They want to get off into something. The real estate bubble's popping on them because it's part of the everything bubble. Equities are no good anymore. They're not really gaining too much. They're not keeping up either. And people get desperate. They're going to turn to cryptos because it's the only thing available out there left to get out of the fiat currencies, because you can't get gold and silver in the physical form. There's so much massive money out there that when the money first starts to turn, when the Fed changes course on what they're doing, and they go back to accommodative monetary policy, there's so much massive amounts of money, so many stashes of money out there, what we call money, which is really just fiat currency, that when it actually starts to chase after something of value, it'll snatch all the gold and silver up so quick. You just, if you haven't got any already right now, when that day comes, you might not be able to get any. And then all that's left is cryptos. Or maybe buy, oh yeah, there will be some other things you can buy, some real things, like you might be able to go out and buy yourself a vehicle or something like that. But that's not money. It can be a liquid asset, like things like maybe art, or things like things that can be liquefied real quick into liquidity, but it's not actual liquidity itself. You see, cryptocurrency is a form of liquidity itself, even though could classify it as a uh, commodity, but it's also like liquidity because it can be transferred just like cash across the internet seamlessly. This is a special asset class, cryptos. And if the world decides that they all want cryptos because they got all this excess liquidity, gold and silver's gone, and we're talking trillions here, we could see a move, an initial move of 10 times what crypto is now. And that's just an initial move. Then a long bull run after that. But the problem with this is, if you're thinking about getting rich, the problem with this, say you get $10,000 worth of Bitcoin or whatever, and you're thinking about getting rich. The problem with this is, say it moves up to 100,000, 10 times. The problem with this is, what are you going to have to pay for everything else at that point in time? Because you might find at that point in time, you go out to buy dinner at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and the prices went up from maybe $12 a person to $200 a person. And you might actually need that money in order to actually survive and feed yourself and your family. Well, but here's the thing, is you'd be able to feed yourself and your family. But what about Joe down the street, and all he had was fiat currency, and his wage didn't keep up and everything? He might be actually having a hard time putting food on the table. And this is a recipe for disaster, because this is what starts social unrest in places, because when they don't have enough food to go around. That's just a direct result of all this. The countries have maybe store more food away for their citizens, may be able to hold things together a little bit better. Or if they're able to produce more food for their citizens. When people start to get hungry, they start to lose it. And of course, we've never, over here in the West, we've never actually had to go hungry. Listen, guys, I need more subscribers. If you got a friend or something, recommend my channel, please. And maybe I can get a few more subscribers coming in to watch my show. I really appreciate my subscriber base out there. My long-term subscribers I've had for a long time. You guys are really great. I try to provide you guys the latest information on what's going on. I'm going to tell you, if you've got cryptos right now, HODL is a very good policy. And if you haven't got any precious metals in the physical form, you should think about getting some, because what we're going toward is we're heading toward hyperinflation. You're going to be very thankful you got them when the time comes. Been waiting for this to come for years. The Fed's triggering it now. They're finally triggering it by turning the economy downwards, which is deflationary, but they can't let it go for very long, the deflation. They're going to have to, it's the biggest bluff in the world. It's like a card game. It's like poker right now, and what they're doing is they're bluffing, because they can't let the economy completely fold into a deflation, which would fight inflation. Ultimately, at first it would be disinflation, and then it would lead to deflation. But they can't let it go that far, not even close to going that far, because it would undermine their whole system of control that they have, and that's what supports them. You think they're going to knock the pedestal out from underneath themselves and come crashing down on them? No. Anyway. We'll catch you guys in the next show, and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.